No longer. Sinners Anonymous, Day 15. Are thoughts sin? Another common question. I'll tell you right from the jump, no. Thoughts in themselves are not sin. Remember, Jesus tempted in every way as we are, but he was without sin. Thoughts will come to tempt you, but it's what you do with the thoughts that determines whether it turns into sin or not. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. What do we do with the thoughts? The word says, first we cast down the imagination. Imagine is something that's in the mind. Every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God. So it puts it in the scope of whatever comes. It's trying to make itself higher than Jesus in you, which can turn into an idol. It says that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God. Opposition, the knowledge of God that you should have in you. It says, in bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Interesting. We see the way of escape here with the thoughts that come into our mind. I like to look at this verse as in Jesus is in me and he is sitting in a very high place, a throne if you will. A thought comes in that's opposed to the Jesus that's in me. I recognize this thought. I take this thought by the ear like it's a child, walk it up to the throne of God within me, and I make it bow down into subjection. It goes away. You can't serve two masters. I serve Jesus Christ. Therefore, nothing else, no other knowledge can reside there. It may enter, but it has to leave, subjected to the rulership, the obedience to what? The obedience of Christ. Philippians chapter 3 verse 15 says, let us therefore as many as be perfect be thus minded, and if in anything ye be otherwise minded, God shall reveal even this unto you. So if there is anything that is not of him, otherwise minded, that is not of Christ, it will be revealed to you. Hebrews 8:10 says, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. Ephesians 4:23 says, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. What is this mind that you're renewed in? 1 Corinthians 2:16. For who hath known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ. The mind that you are renewed in is the same mind that was in Jesus Christ. Philippians chapter 2 verse 5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. Let this mind be in you. Isaiah chapter 26 verse 3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. I can already hear the replies. Nobody can keep their mind stayed on him all the time. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. So if you look at it as keeping your mind on Christ strengthens you, whatever things aren't of Christ will weaken you. If you don't have your mind stayed on him, you are going to be weak. And what happens when you're weak? You are susceptible to fulfilling the lust of the flesh. Romans 8, for what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh. That lets you know, word that was written on tablets and given orally, it was weak through the flesh for their propensity to sin. That's why the law of spirit of life in Christ Jesus had to come. God sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteousness of the law that is put in our minds and written on our hearts, might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. 1 John chapter 3 verse 4 says, whoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. Hebrews 8:10 says, I will put the law in your mind and write it on your heart. If you're bringing every thought into the captivity and the obedience of Christ, casting it down in Christ Jesus, the obedience is to the law that he writes on your heart and puts in your mind, then guess what? You're not transgressing the law, meaning you're not sinning. Be renewed by the spirit of your mind, the same mind that was in Christ. The thoughts that enter your mind are not sin themselves, but what you do with the thoughts determine whether they turn into sin. That is the end of day 15. Are thoughts sin? No. Casting them down, bring them into the captivity and obedience of Christ, and you will not give occasion for the thoughts to turn into sin. Edification assignment, Romans chapter 7, verse 25. And remember, can't do both. May God bless you in Jesus' name.